the end of an era is what it is, and hopefully the beginning of a new exciting one. Yeah.
Taking up air hockey.
Woo! Or American hockey. I have done a lot of thinking over the course of this year about many things, including life. No, one of the things I basically have been thinking about quite a lot over the course of this year, but by the point at the end of the year sort of forced myself to make an actual decision, is to change coaches, which for me is a really big step. Like, I've only ever been coached by Will. It's been like 9 years. It's still working, so hence it wasn't an easy decision because I still feel like I'm getting better under him. But my main reason for deciding now is the time is we've almost got to a point where we now have a really good friendship. I'd count her as one of my close friends, and I kind of abuse it a bit, to the extent of if there's a session that I don't really fancy or there's something that I would rather do, like chain gang, I'll just do it because I know that I can kind of get away with it with him. So I think I basically made the decision that I don't think that's the best thing for my training. I think I should probably be a bit more disciplined with it. And I think change is a good thing. I think, most people probably stay with a coach for 3 or 4 years and then potentially change. You do get some people that have been with coaches for longer, but often at this kind of level people change. So yeah, after a lot of kind of back and forth in my head of is it the right thing, is it to me it feels like a massive risk because it's I know Will, I know it works, it's very cooperative in terms of me suggesting things and him looking at different things and trying to work through all the battles together. He's clearly taken me from age grouper to professional to becoming 5th at a world champ. It's been a pretty mega journey, so it feels like a massive risk, but I'm hoping it will pay off. I probably also have in my head that I've maybe got 5-ish years left of trying to compete at a top level, so I think it needs some time to bed in with a new coach, work out any little differences to work out. So yeah, I've kind of felt if I was going to change, it sort of needed to be now. Big decision. Yeah, in my mind, when I was that the only point of changing would be to change to someone who coaches in a bit of a different way. As in there's no point with Will, he comes at it with years of experience of having done triathlon basically his whole life, had lots of different coaches. He's not come up through the coaching route. So I guess he's quite different to quite a lot of coaches, and that his background is it's all experience, it's stuff that he's tried or seen other people try. It's not oh, I've seen this in a textbook, so I'm gonna apply it to you. Which is one of the things I've really liked about being coached by him. But I guess in my thought of if I'm trying something different, I basically looked down something slightly, I'm gonna call it scientific, but that potentially does Will a bit of disservice because I'm not saying he's not scientific, but it's his sort of science comes from the experience as opposed to I've read all the papers on it or done a degree in it, which, some people have done. But in my head, I was basically I think if I'm going down a different route, I probably am going down more of that sciencey route, but not so far down that route that I don't like it, because I'm not the kind of person that wants to be getting lactate tested every single session all the time. Like, that's not for me. That for me would take all the fun out of it, so I'm not doing that. But I was kind of like, I think maybe something more towards someone who's come up through more of that sciencey background. Luckily enough, so like I was looking into a few different people. One of the people that I was considering, just because I know them relatively well, isn't taking on any new athletes, so that ruled that out immediately. I then also got contacted by someone through Instagram, I love Instagram, who basically said, you know, he'd like followed my journey, he thinks there's like a good sort of base there, was interested in the kind of training I was already doing to think about, is there a different way or other stuff that could be done. So I had a couple of chats with him, really liked him and just really liked his general approach. So I decided that he was going to be my coach. So my new coach is going to be Casper Pedersen, who many people might know as one of Magnus Ditlev's best friends. Yeah, different. He's actually come up through quite an interesting background of trying to be like a racing driver, not having enough money to kind of go all the way with it. Doing some triathlon, but basically getting into coaching from being quite young. But yeah, I just liked his general kind of approach. We got on, which like for me is really important. I think like one of the best ways to have a good coach-athlete relationship is that you actually get on and you can have like good, honest conversations with each other. So yeah, so it's going to be a change. I'm going to have to get used to not just like doing kind of what I want, following my training a little bit more. But yeah, like I'm excited about it. I think it'll be, you know, I think often the reason people change coaches is for that slightly different stimulus of like, even if the training's generally kind of the same, sometimes just having someone different set it is enough of a stimulus to make it different. So yeah, it'll be good. You know, we've already talked about trying to do a little bit of testing in January, potentially getting him on a couple of camps, trying to do like a bit of a Nice camp. Like, so obviously next year, the main focus, I say next year, it'll be this year by the time the video's out. This year, 2024, main focus is Nice. I obviously have to qualify first, but I'm hoping that's not going to be too difficult. With Nice, there's a real opportunity to, if you take the right approach and like maximise the opportunity of it being so close, to be able to like recce it and spend time there. I think like we can do quite a lot of good training around that. So I've got Casper, who's going to be doing my coaching. I'm still working with various other people around other bits, so like I'm still going to have a little bit of input from Lawrence van Lingen on the running side, just to like, I guess, keep in check sort of how I'm running and his kind of whole thought process behind that. Swim wise, I'm still looking at some of the different options of how to kind of maximize getting better, which is quite tricky because I do think swimming you benefit from like face-to-face stuff. Like, I feel like I've made some good improvements with front pack, but because it's not face to face with them and because it's quite challenging filming stuff in British pools, I can't get as much out of them as I potentially could. So I'm still looking a bit at like a kind of hybrid of trying to do some camps with them and then have someone else helping. Al might be helping a little bit, but it depends if we can navigate him helping trying to coach some swimming without us falling out. So the offer is there of him trying to help a bit, but it's whether or not I can deal with him in a kind of coach capacity as opposed to just my boyfriend. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, like swim is still like key focus of have to get that nailed for next year. So we'll see how it goes. You're not allowed to keep that in. You're not allowed to keep that in. I will take that out. So I'm off on swim camp. I'm calling it swim. It's kind of a holiday, but it's also actually swim camp for me. We're going for some sunshine for the first week of January, mainly because the weather is so fucking shit here. So I will be mainly swimming, a lot of swimming, and my return to run, which is getting there. I'm on 6 by 3 minutes, so the run is progressing, in the hope that then second week of Jan I can get properly stuck back into training. We'll probably do a couple of weeks of me getting fit, because I'm currently very unfit because I've also been ill. I've had the classic Christmas illness. So yeah, so we'll do a couple of weeks, and then probably last week of January do some testing to then set me up in a good place for the month in Spain in February. So yeah, probably second week of Jan will be the official, let's put some proper training in, because yeah, next week I'll be doing double swims and a bit of running and not much else.